Just hanging out. See who joins us, if anybody. Okay, why not get started? Because I don't think many people are going to join me anyway. But I try to do these lives every single Thursday. I'm trying 6 o'clock, see if that helps. It may not. If you don't know who I am, I'm Fred Carroll. I run and operate Left Eye Lazy Media, which has Headbangers History, the channel that you're on right now. And I try to do these lives to kill a kill a few things like one, find out what you guys are into, what you're interested in, what you want me to do. If you want me to rot in hell, if you want me to do more punk, do more hardcore, do more thrash, more glam, rock, hard rock, I'm open to all of it. And that's something we're going to discuss today, but also I want to discuss like like how these videos are actually being made because I don't think a lot of people understand what goes into it. So, first of all, welcome. Full transparency right off the bat. I'm reading off a teleprompter. I'm doing it right now. Which is, listen, it's kind of funny because we're about to talk about how I use AI to help write scripts. So, yeah, we're learning all the way into the irony here. But, you know, this is the thing. This isn't just me reading some corporate script. These are bullet points. They're my thoughts. They're organized, so I don't ramble on for 30 minutes and forget what I was trying to say. Because that would happen. And these are just ideas that I'm looking at right now that are across the teleprompter, and then I just put it into my voice. Not very unlike how I create videos and stuff, but trust me, I'd fail at this. If I had to remember all this, I'd always sign off and go, oh my fuck, I forgot to say that. I forgot to say this. So today we're going to go behind the curtain. That's all. Because I want to talk about my metal yearbooks. I want to talk about my hardcore file episodes, which is, you know, people are asking me. All of a sudden, I dove into hardcore. So there's a reason with the YouTube algorithm and stuff like that, but there's a writing process. Why certain bands don't make the cut, even though you're in the fucking comments asking about them every day. And and the truth is, yeah, we're gonna talk about the AI thing because I know some of you have questions about that. I've been accused of being AI, but here I am in the flesh. This is an AI. Believe me, if it was AI, I'd be much better looking. I wouldn't have this raspy voice. Sounds like I smoked 3 packs of cigarettes a day. AI would be clean and pretty. I'd probably have a bikini on and be on a beach, to be honest with you. But, this isn't just me responding to comments and saying, "Thanks for watching." We're going to actually dig into the process. And, because I think you understand how much work goes into an 8-minute video from your own belief system, I'm going to tell you what it actually takes because you'll understand at the end why I can't include every single band or moment that you want to see. So let's just do it. This is the reality, what it takes. The first thing, we'll talk about the brutal math of YouTube. An 8-minute video seems short to most people, right? You watch it, it's over, you move on. But what you don't see is that an 8-minute video probably took me, you know, anywhere up to 20 hours to make, sometimes more. And that's not exaggerating or anything. So I'll break it down. The research phase. I read a lot of books. I'm also an author, in case you want to go on Amazon and buy my books. But I read a lot of books. I watch a ton of documentaries. I'm always hunting down interviews on YouTube so I could get a little nugget from the band, from the source, from decades ago through fuzzy TVs, just to verify a single fact. And I'm cross referencing sources because the internet is full of repeated myths that nobody bothers to fact check. And that alone could take 10 hours just for one episode, one 8-minute episode. But then there's the outline phase. Once I've got all this research, I have to figure out what the actual story is. How about what series it's going to fit into? Am I ready for Monday? Am I ready for Tuesday? Am I ready for Wednesday? Am I ready for Friday? Because that's how I release. Monday's Metal Yearbook, Tuesday's Hardcore Files. Usually they're two-part series, part one, part two, right there. Wednesday, part two of Metal Yearbook. Friday, part two of Hardcore Files. The podcast comes out on Saturday. I do the lives on Thursday. A lot of my time is spent here in this room, the room you're looking at. So, what's the through line? What moments matter the most? What can I cut? Because the reality is, I usually research way more material than I can use. I have scripts written, recorded some of them, but like for instance, tomorrow's episode is 5 punk revolts. So you might say, okay, what's this about and stuff. So it falls into that hardcore punk era. And no, I'm not gonna get it 100% right or be mentioning a band you 100% want. I can't read your mind. I picked five moments of punk revolt in history. So it's not just 1974, well, even though a lot of it takes place in the 70s. But I had three other bands fully researched. Three. Three ready to go. But the problem is they didn't fit the narrative arc that I was building. So there they are on the floor, cut. Not because they weren't important and not because I don't respect them, but because I'm building a story, a specific story, and I'm not making a Wikipedia list. And that's the part people don't always get. Now, the writing phase. This is where some AI comes in, and we'll get to that in a minute. But even with AI helping, I'm still rewriting everything multiple times just to make sure it sounds like me, not like a robot trying to sound cool like me. Cool. There's the recording and the editing. I've got to actually record it. Then I have to edit the audio if it's off camera, even when it's on camera. Then I got to find B-roll footage or images, make sure everything is legally cleared, add graphics, color correct, sound mix, all of that for an 8-minute video of content. So people will say, well, why do you do 8 minutes? So the truth is, I mean, because YouTube's algorithm favors videos between 8 and 12 minutes for audiences like yourself. That's for retention. If I make a 25-minute video, statistically, most people drop off. The algorithm sees that, decides the video sucks, and stops recommending it. This is a business. I'm not going to lie. I'm not here as a hobbyist. I'm here to make money. It's a legitimate business. I've invested thousands of dollars. My computer system alone is worth $12,000. The camera I'm on right now is a $6,000 camera with a $4,000 lens. All the lights that you see, my home, my studio, everything you see right here is paid for by me. I need to recoup some funds back. I also don't, this is my job, just in case you were wondering. This is what I do. Now, on top of that, I also write books and I write movie scripts, and I'm fairly successful in those at times, but they're not consistent and it's not what I want to be. I want to be Left Eye Lazy Media's goal is to have 4 channels by the end of next year. Right now, we have 2. Headbangers History, which you're watching now. I also do a Your Crisis Coach podcast, which is every week on Mondays, and you can find that on YouTube also. I'm going to have Misfit Cinema, which is already live, and you could go over and subscribe to it if you'd like, but I'm not doing much with it because I'm trying to build this system first. I need to make sure this works. So I'm trying to work within YouTube's rules so more people actually see the work. But it also means that I have to make hard choices about what stays and what goes. And that's where I get comments like, why didn't you mention insert band, insert band? And truthfully, my answer is usually I did mention them in my research notes, but they didn't make the final cut. Because the video has to tell a cohesive story in 8 minutes, and I can't include everything. And does it suck? Yeah, it sucks sometimes, but that's the reality of the format. I still have to abide by their rules. Even though I don't want to be in the corporate world, YouTube is very corporate. They have rules, and that includes AI transparencies. So we'll talk about it because some people have accused me of using AI. And I always said I'd be transparent because I'm really good at AI. I understand it greatly. I see its benefits. I also see its negatives. And I see a lot of shit on YouTube that is not very good and it's not original. My stuff is original. And although you might be skeptical about what I use it for, here we go. I use AI to help write these scripts, the scripts that you see. Now, I don't rely on it. I come up with the title. Um, I created an AI GPT um, assistant, if you want to call it, that has specific rules of how I want my scripts and how I need to read out my scripts, words I could use, words I don't use, the non robotics of it. So basically, it's my editor. I write the script, I give the bullet points, I give the bands I want to talk about, I give all that. It shoots me back something between, let's say, 8 and 15 minutes, and I review it. Then we go back and, okay, change this to that, this to that, this to that. It's just like talking to a person, except that person has little opinion. So I'm not going to hide that I use it or dance around it, but I will lay it all out, my process, step by step. So the first one comes in research. All the research is all me. I'm reading, I'm watching, I'm verifying. AI doesn't do this part because AI doesn't know shit about Black Sabbath's recording at Clearwell Castle. AI will just, you know, stuff it up with research or something, and it hallucinates, it invents sources, it gets dates wrong. It's basically just Googling at this point. So I do all the research myself. It's not always perfect. I understand. I'm a human being. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to read an article, believe it, and find out it was bullshit. But that's why I rely on you guys. I listen to you guys. I see you. As long as it's critiqued as a human, treating me fairly and understanding that I do make mistakes and I can make mistakes and I'm going to make a lot more, it's all entertainment. That's what I'm trying to create, something for you to watch on your lunch break, your supper, after dinner, whenever, before bed. Something to entertain you a little. So I'm looking at primary sources of band interviews, um, contemporary articles, books written by people who were actually there. Um, that's the foundation of everything. But then there's the outlining, which is also me. Once I have all this research, I figure out the structure. What's the hook? What's the arc? What are the 5 moments that tell the story I want to tell? AI can't make those decisions because they're not me, and I'm a fucking weirdo like that. But I can. So writing is where AI helps. And here's what I do. I take my outline and my research notes, and I use AI to help me turn that into a script. But And this is important. It's not just AI, write me a script about punk rock. I'm feeding it my voice. I'm feeding it examples of how I write because I'm telling it, make this sound conversational, not academic. Cut the fluff, make it punchy. Then I rewrite it multiple times because the first draft always sounds a little too polished, a little too AI. So I go through, add the rough edges back in, the tangents, the sides, the parts where I'd naturally pause or emphasize something. The fourth thing I use it, fact checking, comes back to me. I'll never blame AI for the fact if I miss something, and I have, I put it on me because I had the opportunity. I don't always have the time, but I've had the opportunity always. My scripts are, I have 30 days of scripts written and ready to go. And I could look at those over easily before anything goes live. Plus, when I'm reading them, I'm not reading it live. So if I'm doing audio only, it's just my voice. So nobody sees me. So when I make a mistake, I have my little clicker and it just does a little so I could see it on the wavelength when I'm editing. But I've tried to verify every single fact in the script, dates, names, quotes, events. I cross check and I miss a few because some of you were there. Some of these events I'm talking about, I realize you were there. And as long as you present that to me, I believe you. This is just metal. This isn't rocket science or anything. It's important to me. It's important to you, I assume. But it's not changing the world. We're not here to change the world. We just want to hear our music, our stories, and hopefully I'm delivering that to you on at least a 75% basis because I'm working probably 80 hours a week on this. AI gets stuff wrong all the time, confidently wrong too. It's very confident in its wrongness. And I'm not putting my name on something that's factually incorrect just because it sounds cool. Another thing, this before we get into the recording and stuff, I'm not a guy that I came into this as a hobbyist. I said, I'm going to create a channel that talks about heavy metal history. Now, heavy metal is not my only style of music I listen to. I enjoy some rap. I enjoy some country. I enjoy some rock. I am going to somehow, even though the title of the channel is Headbangers History, I still believe that rock bands of the 70s and 80s helped create what we're calling headbanger type style music. I know it's confusing, but my goal isn't to tell you for the 800th time about Metallica or Megadeth or Anthrax or Pantera. That fucking bores me. I get bored. I want to tell you about Cryptic Slaughter. I want to tell you about a band you never heard of, like Forbidden. I want to talk about Sacred Reich, bands that I loved as a kid and still love today. Unfortunately, YouTube punishes you because nobody's watching those videos. If you're not typing Sacred Reich, you're not finding my video. So hopefully, slowly, I could at least put one a month in, two a month, and maybe weed it down to where every Wednesday is flashback, throwback, whatever. So back to this AI. The recording and the delivery is all me. I'm the one hitting record. I'm the one speaking. I'm the one deciding how to deliver each line, where to pause, where to punch a word. It's not AI. There's no AI in my audio at all. That's me interpreting the script and making it come alive. So, what AI really is actually doing is a writing assistant. And it's so helpful on the back end where I got to create chapters, where I have to create descriptions for all the shorts that go in it. Um, you got to think I got about 35 to 45 shorts a week that I have to create, upload, put the fancy little add ins, B rolls, and stuff. I do use I guess it's an AI Opus clip, which takes my full video and helps find key points in it that are interesting, at least. I try to keep them under a minute. But it is an organization tool. So all that bullshit back end stuff that would take me 2 hours per video minimum to do takes me about a minute because I have a system. I have engines that were built by in AI, specific jobs for them to do. And I created this. I created a machine where I know I've got click and drag files, how to build a special way to build my videos. I treat them like little movies. So it helps me organize my thoughts, turns research into a readable prose faster than I could ever do it alone. It's kind of like it's like having somebody help you clean your rough draft. And like I told you, I'm an author also, and that's where my majority of my success in life has come from. But I can write. I could write quickly. I do have a good memory. I did live. I'm 56, so I lived my teenage years were right in those 80s there. So I lived through all this. I also lived right outside New York City, so I saw a shit ton of shows in my day. I also worked at the New Haven Coliseum in Connecticut here for many, many years and saw a shit ton of backstage stuff that's happened. So I have a good memory. Wasn't a big into drugs or drinking, so that hasn't burned out yet. So AI doesn't do my research. I will run certain things through AI if I'm lost on something. Like, for instance, can you find me a can you find me something on Joe Strummer, which is something that we're talking about in the next video. But it's not making creative decisions. I'm doing that. And here's the thing, I could write these scripts entirely by myself without any AI, and I've done it before, but it would take me twice as long, and I'd probably burn out after 3 episodes. This is a full time job. I'm up at 7 a.m. I am at my desk no later than 11 a.m. If I go to the gym, after cleaning the house, all the stuff I got to do in life. And I'm here till about 10 to midnight, nonstop. So AI lets me be consistently scheduled without sacrificing quality, I hope. I hope you think my videos are quality. And that's it. That's the trade off. So a lot of people would say, why are you telling us this? Why? Because I think transparency matters. I don't want you to think I'm trying to pass off AI generated content as my own work, but I do want you to know exactly what my process is. And honestly, I think the people who are most angry about AI are often the ones who don't understand how it's being used. It's got value in something like I'm doing here. Now, eventually, maybe I got an assistant, a real one, if I'm making enough money. But a lot of people think it's a cheat code. It's not. It's just another tool. It's a better hammer. It's a better screwdriver. And like any tool, it can be used well or used poorly. And I'm trying to use it well. I'm not trying to overuse it. And if you think I'm failing on that, just tell me. Because I'm reading the comments, I'm listening. This channel only works if you trust that I'm giving you real stories, real research, and being real with you, being a real person, my actual voice. So, yeah, that's the AI thing. Anyone got questions? Anybody got concerns? Um, I don't know if anybody's in the chat there or anything, but we could find out. So I'm getting a few people here. So that's good. What's going on, Jackwagon? But I have no problem answering questions. I love the chat option and stuff when you guys leave a I know I say polite. What I mean is just have some respect for me. I know you every now and then and all the time. There's always a keyboard warrior asshole. They come in all colors, creeds, sizes, genres, everything. Nobody's perfect. Some people are just sad and stuff, but quite honestly, even the bad remarks, although they stick with me a little longer, I can get 1,000 awesome video. But that one person that said, sucks, you're an asshole, your left eye is lazy, all the stuff that I've heard my whole life. Like, I don't know I have a lazy left eye. Big fucking deal. Who cares? I could see two girls at once. I could see around the corner, and I've never been sucker punched from the left. Who cares? Um, I don't know. But with your comments, let's see. Let's talk about, well, we'll talk about some of the comments and the questions I see a lot, such as, why wasn't such and such in the video? And it's a big one. And I get it. You got a band you love, a moment you think is important, and you're wondering why it didn't make the cut, I guess. And it's a decision. It's usually a decision matrix. Sometimes I miss bands. Yeah, I'm going to miss moments and stuff. But I don't think anybody wants to watch a video of me for 20 minutes going like I'm reading a Wikipedia. Like, Motley Crue took the stage. Nikki Sixx did heroin. Same bullshit fucking stories that are just regurgitating over and over. You want new, fresh stuff, I assume. So I need to know, does it fit the narrative? If I'm doing 5 punk rock revolts, I'm looking for moments that fundamentally change something. Not just the band was cool or this show was wild. I need a story that has stakes and consequences. And second, can I verify it? Believe it or not, there's a lot of rock and roll myths out there. Stories that get repeated so often they become truth, even though they're not, or not proven, or documented anywhere. And sometimes I try too hard to find it, but it's hard not to perpetuate those myths. So if I can't find solid sources, I'm probably not including it, or I'm letting you know this source is unsure. But third, does it add something new to the conversation? If 3 of my 5 stories are already about British punk, I'm probably not adding a 4th one, even if it's a great story. Because I believe you want variety. I want to show different facets of the scene. And then 4th, and this is probably a brutal one, does it fit in 8 minutes? Because sometimes I have to cut a great story just because there's no room for it. Now, a lot of my videos do go 12 minutes, and some up to 15 minutes. Once it approaches that 15-minute mark, I tend to make it a 2-part series, add a nice, gentle, wait until you see this, and I release it 3 days later. But none of this means that the band I cut doesn't matter. It just means I had to make a choice. I can't, my goal is to do 4 full-length videos a week. If each one takes me 20 hours on the rough, now, not all of them do. Some of them take 5 hours, some of them take 30. So on average, if it takes 20 hours, that's 80 hours of my time spread out through, let's say, 6 days. I started taking Mondays off recently to get my head right and make sure I'm working on my other shows. But people want to know the verification. And it's a great question, and here's what I look for. Primary sources that are gold. Even if it's Rolling Stone magazine, something from a magazine, as long as it's spoken by the band or quoted by the band, I believe it. So that's interviews with the people who were actually there, backstage people, articles from when the event happened, whether it's in the news, on the news. YouTube has tons of news clips, official documents. Secondary sources are useful but need to be cross-checked or mentioned that they're secondary. Books written later, documentaries, retrospectives, and then there's the internet, which is just hit or miss. It's a fucking minefield because the same incorrect story gets copied from site to site, and suddenly it looks like a true story because 20 websites say it. But the truth is, they're all just copying each other. So I dig, I look deeper, I look for the original source. I'll even call a few friends of mine. I got friends that are in the business, music business, and bands and stuff. Sometimes I'll reach out to them and say, "Did you ever hear the story about Ozzy and this?" And if I can't find one, I don't use it. I don't use it. So the other question is, do you write your own scripts? We went over that. Yes, with AI assistance for organization and flow, but the research ideas, all mine. So that's me. I think I covered this pretty thoroughly in the last segment, but the short answer is I'm not outsourcing my brain to a robot. It is very helpful. AI, if you know what you're doing, and I'm pretty good at it, I've been using it for about a year and a half to 2 years now. It's so efficient if I give it the rules and the basically I treat it like my bitch. It's not a being, it's not human, it has no soul. And that's the problem we're running into, whether it's film, which I'm very interested in the film business, but books that are being written by AI. It doesn't impress me. Of course, you could write it. The problem is AI doesn't have a heartbeat. It doesn't have a soul. So if you asked it to write a James Bond novel, all it's going to do is research the 32 James Bond books that came out since the 60s and create a story based off of those stories. It's not creating a new story. It doesn't have that yet. Is it coming? I'm afraid it might be. But right now, it's not there. It's not. And I'm not worried about it because I don't write for money. I love money. I think we all love money, and when I have a good book and it sells, it's great. But I write because it's my breath. That it's like taking oxygen away. Every day I have to write. So yeah, it's important to me. So another question is, why do some stories feel incomplete? And a lot of it is because I'm building a narrative, not writing encyclopedia entries. Because if I'm telling you about, let's say, the Sex Pistols on the Grundy show, something you'll see tomorrow, I'm focusing on that specific moment and why it mattered. I'm not giving you a full biography of every band member. I'm not going to explain the entire history of punk rock leading up to that point. What I am is I'm trusting you to follow the story. And yes, sometimes that means leaving out details. But the only alternative is a 45-minute video of me fucking talking and nobody fucking watching all the way through. And then the algorithm buries it. So that's where Big Brother comes in. So I have to make choices as a business. And sometimes those choices leave people wanting more. But that's not a bad thing. It's not. I think it's okay. I'd rather you finish a video and think, I want to know more about this subject than have you drop off 4 minutes into an 8-minute video and say, I'm over explaining everything. It's a process. So let's talk about what's next and you guys in the community and stuff. Oh boy. So what's coming up? What's coming up? I'm definitely sticking with the hardcore files because although I was alive for the hardcore scene and I went to many hardcore shows and stuff, it wasn't my main thing. I never bought into I didn't have the combat boots and the hairstyles and the clothing and all that stuff. I was always just a long haired t shirt, jeans, concert shirt, sneakers type guy. Play my guitar, play in my band, and do my thing. But I still appreciated hardcore. But I'm finding now that I have to really look at these bands, some of these bands I've never heard of. But I'm not gonna tell you that in the video because I feel I have the knowledge to figure it out. So those episodes are just hitting. And you have to feed the beast. If people are watching hardcore videos, I have to keep creating hardcore videos. If they're watching my Madonna as a why I think Madonna is heavy metal, then I'd be creating more about Madonna. But nobody watched that video. You could still see it. It's up on the page somewhere. I think it's good, and I think I'm right. But I need episodes that work. I make money when videos are watched, and I don't make a lot of money. This is not a big channel. I am not Mr. Beast. I am not Rick Beto. I am small time, and I'm talking McDonald's part time job type money. But I'm going to keep going because I want to get up there. I want this to be my full time job, and I'll get there. One thing I just got invited to and allowed to record and go live from is Toad's Place in New Haven for Tantric is playing a little mini festival that Opus, Christian Lawrence from Dead by Wednesday, you might know him, is also the drummer of Tantric now in a touring capacity. Um, he he invited me to the event and gave me a full access backstage. And not, listen, it's local bands mostly, but Tantric is somebody that sold 750,000 albums of their first album. And Opus is a great guy. He bleeds this industry. He cares about this industry, and he cares about me. So he's given me a platform. So I appreciate it. So I'll be there doing some live stuff. I did get into a few of the festivals coming up in 2026, the big ones, the Danny Weimer festivals. I think I'm doing one down in Florida, and I'm doing one in Kentucky, I believe, or Ohio. I'm not sure. Check into it. But getting back to the work, I got cursed recordings and studio hauntings where we're talking Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, some genuinely creepy stories, and that the bands themselves confirm. And that's my point. I want to make stuff that is confirmed, or at least let you know this is not confirmed. Obviously, I love to have fun. I love to entertain. I love to laugh, tell jokes, even write silly shit. I used to do a series called Metal Tour Guide where I would create fictional tours because I'm a fiction writer. And I created Britney Spears opening up for Slipknot in 1999. It was the Glitter and Gore tour. Nobody watched it. Nobody cared about that. And it hurt me so much because I'd love to be in the comedy side of this and be able to have fun. It's why I do so much B roll and audio only because you guys don't seem to want to look at me and enjoy my fun or my little jabs. You know, it it's one it this channel just does not want that. So I have to learn. My job is to make this channel successful, and the only way I could do that is by giving whoever's watching more of what they're watching. So I'm in a bind a little. It's not perfect. I haven't figured it all out, and it's a game. This is a game. It's a corporate game, and YouTube loves to change the rules. So I don't know. It's it, this is just something I hope you could see how much I really want this, and I really want this to be important and to you. So the best thing I could tell you is let me know what stories you want me to dig into, and I'll dig into them. And I might not get to them Monday when you message me on Friday, but it might be 3 Mondays away. It's going to be in the file. Everything you guys talk about, every hardcore lover out there that has hammered me online about, oh, you didn't mention this band, and what about this? Some of these bands I never even heard of. So I have to do the research, and I did it. I've got a whole file. It's like 180 different bands that I have to look into. So, do you want deeper dives? Do you want 15-minute videos? Would you rather part one and part two be together? You know, just drop it in the comments. I can't promise I'll cover everything, but I'm always looking for the next rabbit hole, and I'll fall down it and go deep into it. I don't even mind. I love the hair metal era. Don't necessarily love hair metal, but I love the era because it's my childhood when I was young and vibrant, when I had hair. I'm bald now. When I had marginally good looks, when I had a body that didn't want to gain 20 pounds in one weekend. And I'm lost. I don't have it anymore. So just let me know. I enjoy talking in the comments. It is always me that reaches back if I reach back. I try to, but sometimes it's overwhelming. But the goal here is to tell metal and punk history the right way, not the sanitized version, not the myths, the real stories with all the darkness, the chaos, the brilliance intact. Because these stories matter. A lot of them matter in my life. These bands mattered in my life. And I think they deserve better than clickbait listicles and Wikipedia summaries. So that's what I'm trying to do. So the best thing you could do is just, if you're not subbed already, sub, share it, help me. Because, we're out of time now, but I could use it. I could use any help out there that's willing and it makes sense to me. I'm listening. I may not agree with it and I might not do it, but I'm listening and I listen fairly. Um, so thanks for hanging out if you did hang out. I know this was a little different than the usual content where I actually talk about actual stuffs, but I do think it's important to pull back the curtain sometimes. I want you guys to trust me. I want you to see how this stuff actually gets made. And look, if you have questions about my process, about AI, about why I made certain choices in a video, just ask me. I'm not trying to hide anything. Truthfully, I'm just trying to make the best content I can while remaining honest about how I'm making it. I'm not ashamed of it at all. I'm not going to stop using the AI. Oh, by the way, none of my thumbnails are AI though. That's all me. They're not beautiful and perfect, but that's one thing I won't touch is artwork. So drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what you want to see next. Tell me if you think I'm full of shit. I'm reading all of it. And if you're not subscribed yet, why not? Hit that button, turn on the notifications. It's free, cost you nothing. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next Thursday. New video comes out tomorrow. Don't miss it. See you later, everyone.